up, True Team? So in this video, I did another PowerPoint, okay? And this time we discussed the medical examiner's testimony at the first Ynw Melly trial, okay? Now, I ain't no doctor, and I make it clear on that. I'm just interpreting what I heard during the testimony and breaking it down to the best of my ability. Now, I want y'all to definitely run up the comments and let me know, like, Mickey, you okay? I'm following Mickey. Nah, you are definitely off with that one. This is what I think. Get the conversation going in the chat. I appreciate y'all giving me my little couple days off, and I'll be back with more content coming soon. But let's get into the video.
We have Mickey Truth.
Who is this? You got Mickey Truth kicked out.
Shout out Mickey.
Let's get one thing clear. This your girl, Mickey Truth. All information contained in this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So let's get it. Happy Sunday to the Truth Team. So last night we went live for 6 hours. Okay, we covered a lot of testimony and had a good discussion. However, it was too much for me to edit. Okay, your girl be having a lot going on. However, I did do a quick recap from the review of the medical examiner's testimony. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into it. So Dr. McDougal is the chief medical examiner for Broward County. Okay, in her testimony, she stated that she performed the autopsy, internal and external, of victim 1, the front passenger. Also, she confirmed the cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. Also confirmed that the first shot was to the back of the neck on the left side, which is the entry point. The exit wound was the top right of head. The fatal shot was indeterminate. Okay, she doesn't know what the range was between the gun and the victim, basically is what she meant by that. She cannot state if the shooter was inside the vehicle or not. She also amended the autopsy report of the second victim, which was in the right back seat in 2022 after ASA Bradley pointed out a discrepancy. Okay, so it seemed like they pick and choose what to point out. Gunshot wound A, right? According to page 12 of Dr. McDougal's deposition, depending on the victim position in that seat, there could be evidence of close range firing on his jacket or to the back of the seat or to the seat or the headrest. Now, what I would like to point out, again, it continues to say because of the position of the wound, is that the chief medical examiner who performed the autopsy cannot tell you how the victim was sitting, okay? Cannot tell you exactly how far away the muzzle of the gun, which is used for the bullet to come out to enter where it's going, where or how far it was from the body, okay? Additional testing needed to be done for that. Day 9 of the first trial, the expert witness testified that she does not test clothing or items for GSR. That goes to somebody else that's actually an investigator, right? She also stated she is unable to confirm where the shooter was located and that hemorrhaging was only found in the fatal wound tract, which is wound A. And that means the victim was alive at the time. Fatal shot. Fatal shot confirmed to be the first shot fired into the victim. The entry was from the left side of the back of the neck. Hair was cut from the victim around the area of the wound. However, it was not bagged for evidence. So no testing was done on the hair, which could have determined the range of fire. You would think that would be very important, right? When you're trying to paint a picture that the person sitting in the left rear side of the car, right, shot at close range 2 victims. Why not do the testing so that you can determine it? I got my own theory too, but we'll get to that in a minute. Perforating gunshot, it means it's an entry wound and an exit wound, okay? Day one expert, and I believe this is Investigator Collins, don't quote me on the last name, but I believe it's something with a C, okay? Victims were unclothed by hospital staff, but no medical aid was rendered. Then they were gowned by hospital staff, then ungowned by the hospital staff, regowned by the hospital staff prior to place and body bags for the coroner. And the coroner also confirms, okay, that they came to the morgue in hospital gowns, not in their clothing. I thought it was peculiar because also the medical examiner stated that it was no signs that medical aid was rendered. So why did they unclothe the victims from the start? Don't know. Maybe it's a policy thing. Maybe it's a procedure thing. But we'll do some research on it and I'll let you know. Expert witness, which is the investigator, stated her job was to take pictures of the decedents, however, does not clean up anything on the body. So her pictures are just as is. The medical examiner stated that they do at some point clean the bodies before actually doing the autopsies. The deceased clothing and items were bagged up in hospital packaging. So in my opinion, that means the hospital staff took the clothing off the victims that they took out of the car and bagged them, right? Again, I don't know why they did it if they were dead on arrival. However, according to the chief medical examiners, the victims died at the hospital. Again, I don't know. Is that what was that a misspoken word or something? I don't know, but that's what was said on record. Now, according to this witness, victim 1 was negative for GSR on hands. And that's around the 6 hour and 26 minute time mark for those who want to go review. Thought that was interesting because victim 1, right, is the same victim that the medical examiner stated that if his clothing, the jean jacket, were to be tested, right, they can establish the GSR to establish the range. However, you test just his hands, but not the clothing? Or did they test the clothing? Because now I'm tripping. But we'll get to it in a minute. Another thing, the state witness testified that victim 1 jean jacket was provided by medical staff, meaning she took ownership, right, of the item directly from the hospital staff. Also, she testified that the jacket has been in police custody since taking possession of, so nobody else has access to this jacket. So why wasn't it tested for GSR? Interesting. Victim 2, according to this witness, had multiple projectiles appearing to be located in the midsection of his body under the skin. That just like threw me for a loop when I heard of that. Rest in peace to the victims, first and foremost, because I can only imagine having to go through that to see that. And especially it was shown at court. So, that was a lot. Injury to the feet of victim 2 was also noted. Now, the victim 2, who was sitting in the back seat of the car, tested negative for GSR on his hands. However, according to the medical examiner, the victim had defensive wounds, right, to his left hand and also had something done to the left thumb. Now, I don't recall at the time of making this video if the thumb was shot or not. However, it was used in a defensive way to protect them from something. Wouldn't that have left, if the shooter was up close, right? Wouldn't that have left GSR on the left hand? But according to this witness, it was no GSR on the left hand or right hand. Excuse me. Now, the front seat passenger jacket was shown at trial. In my opinion, as I stated, last night, majority of the blood, to me, is on the left side of the jacket. Now, I also, in my opinion, see that it's possibly an exit hole in the jacket. Now, Would that matter to the blood? Not according to the medical examiner, because according to the medical examiner, when the other 2 gunshot entrants that happened to victim 1, he was already deceased and there was no blood. So all of the blood that we are seeing, right, in my opinion, how I took her testimony is from the original first shot, which was the fatal shot, which was to the back of the neck. Now, some people have been in the comments saying, well, he was linked over sleep. Well, in my opinion, I don't see how that's possible if all the blood is again coming down on the left side. But I could be wrong. However, once we get to the actual crime scene part and the vehicle, we'll revisit it again. But last night I showed y'all all the blood that was dried up on the actual seat in the car was on the left-hand side. Now, the expert witness stated that this was actually a gunshot wound or a gunshot entry, or, and I would have to agree, because the coroner, I keep saying coroner, that's what we call ours here, but the medical examiner, okay, does state that victim 1 was shot in the chest from the front. So that could definitely line up with that. Now, victim 1's jeans. What was interesting to me about it was that on the back of the jeans, on the left side, it looks like a dark substance, right? Like coming down the pants. And in my opinion, that's blood, right? However, on the right side, I don't see anything that looks similar to the substance on the left. So it still furthers in my mind that all of the blood was coming down the left side of the body. Victim 2, again, first shot was the fatal shot. According to the medical examiner, the first shot was through the cheek and it came out the right back of the head. The cheek did show, according to the medical examiner, stipple. However, no testing was done. And again, stipple indicates possibly close range, right? However, to determine the exact, more precise range, you will need to do testing. If you do not do testing, then you can use a textbook answer, which is 3 inches to 3 feet, meaning you could use for your reconstruction or your theory anywhere in between 3 inches to 3 feet. Side note, just to let everybody know, other authorized personnel are allowed to assist with process, including investigators and medical staff. So all of what I've spoke on, it wouldn't have been against rules for them to be there. But I'm not even going to cap, like I said last night, to know that Detective Moretti was present during the autopsy of victim 1 and was there to, in my opinion, witness the hair be cut and not bagged and disposed of. And I do leave a little sour taste in my mouth. I'm just going to be real. Now, another person that was present during the autopsy and even processed one of the decedents was this witness. This state witness also processed the vehicle. But how did he allow the hair to be cut but not bagged for evidence? It's too many people around that needs to be held accountable for that to have been done. But it reminds me of something else in this same case. How a lot of people was in the know about the conversation over that warrant and how it got swept under the rug. But again, y'all say I be reaching, but that's my opinion to reach with. Another state witness, which is a crime scene investigator, stated that she assisted with processing the vehicle, was responsible for the passenger side of the vehicle, and collected fingerprints on the driver's side of the vehicle. Another side note, just to keep in mind, expert witnesses outside of the medical examiners did not have any medical training, okay? So if we summarize what medical facts was provided at the first trial, was that the fatal shots of both victims was to the left side of their bodies. The distance could not be established because no testing was done for GSR on the clothing, on the headrest, on the seat. Now, one gunshot had stipple, according to the medical examiner, and that was on victim number 2. However, again, you have to do the testing to determine the distance or the range. Now, in my mind, and this is my opinion, and y'all may say I'm reaching, if I had a particular theory, right, that I'm trying to get to, I'm working backwards, right, to show that this drive-by is cap, okay? That's my theory that covered it up and they staged this drive-by. Why would I do a testing for range to narrow down? Y'all may say, Mickey, what you talking about? Well, quick example. If my theory or my reconstruction that we're going to do, the police department do their reconstruction. They did it in this case. In order for me to pinpoint my one suspect that I got tunnel vision on, and in order for me to prove to a jury, right, that don't have expert knowledge in this, that, hey, he would have been 1 foot away from the victim in order to get this shot. If I don't do no testing, I could use anywhere from 3 inches to 3 feet. Textbook answer. The jury not going to pay attention. That's a textbook answer. They're just going to say it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. It fits in the range. However, if I do the testing, right, and my one suspect that I'm trying to point as the shooter is 2 feet away, right? But then when I do my trajectory and the bullet doesn't come from 2 feet away, ooh, you don't have a point. However, now, again, this is my opinion. I'm not an expert in this, but this is how I would interpret it. It then raised the question, why didn't the defense have their own person to do this? Because the same way that broad example of 3 inches to 3 feet could be used to paint the defendant as the shooter, it can also be used to unpaint the defendant as the shooter. So that got me to thinking, it's definitely deeper than we think. Is it that the defense has limited information that they can use for defense because of the defendant not wanting to go to a certain level of defense? I don't know. I know that might sound weird, but I'm just saying it was so much room to like dig into these holes that wasn't utilized. Now, they did ask some good questions to the medical examiner to put on record for the appeal, of course, but why didn't they dig in it? Why didn't they attack it? Is the question. So let me just have y'all think about this. If you didn't watch the video last night, the coroners, I keep saying coroners, medical examiners, right, say that the first gunshot was fatal. They died. They can't tell you how long it took them to die, but they died. And by the time the other bullets, and victim 1 only was shot 2 more times after the fatal, and victim 2 was shot multiple times after the fatal, no blood was around these wounds, right? So if that's the case, how did they die from multiple gunshot wounds? Now, I've been thinking about this overnight, and I'm like, well, maybe it's because they're counting the entry room and the exit room. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to get my expert, which is my local coroner office, to verify how that works, and I'll get back to y'all. Another thing is the angle of the shot for victim 1 technically doesn't have to follow that one trajectory. But I'm not going to go too much into it. I want that just to settle on your brain. You know I got a video coming for it. Another thing, neither medical examiner can determine how far any of the shots were, where the shooter was located, how the body was positioned. Oh, no, I stand corrected. The second medical examiner who did the autopsy for victim 2 stated that after the fatal shot, which was the first shot, the body was slumped over to the left. And when the other shots was done, they were in that position. Case in point, the victim was already deceased. So That's what the coroners or medical examiners, excuse me, are saying. They're not saying that the victims were asleep. They're not saying how the victims was laying. So again, when we talk medical, do we listen to medical professionals, or do we listen to, say, an investigator that is supposed to do a reconstruction of the shooting, where they reconstructed based on the evidence? How can you allude that a victim was asleep if the medical professionals can't say the victim was asleep? Oh, because it's a theory. The theory is the victim was asleep to fit the heinous crime. However, didn't y'all say my theory was a reach because it's no evidence of this? Well, I'll tell you this. Where is the evidence that the victims was asleep? Y'all let me know in the comments. With that being said, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up on your girl Mickey Truth. And like I said throughout the video, that's my opinion. And if you don't like it, guess what?
I'm like, fuck yeah.
This is the weakest. Give a fuck about what they scream.
Holla!
Shout out Mickey. Mickey, you gonna be big. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to conquer the world, coming from where I come from. Hey, this your girl Mickey Truth, #1 blogger in South Carolina. #1 blogger in South Carolina.